I started not worrying so much about how do I look and how do I sound and was that okay? Did anyone understand? It just became, okay, this is the thing I'm going to do every day. Hi, my name is Andrea Sampson, and welcome to my channel. And welcome back if you've been here before. If you've been following me for a little while, you know that I'm actually fairly new here. I started my YouTube journey not that long ago, probably less than a year. And I never thought it was something that I would do. You know, being on video, giving advice. Look, my work is doing this, and I'm on video often through my work. But creating videos for YouTube or for any other social media medium felt a little daunting and felt like I don't even know where to start. And it strikes me that a lot of you out there might be in a similar situation. But how did I get started? Well, the first couple of videos were really hard, I'm not gonna lie. In fact, I had just moved. I last year made the decision to leave the city that I had lived in for, 35 years. And I moved to a really, really tiny little community. And I found myself with not a lot of people that I knew. And so maybe a bit more time on my hands, and perhaps talking to the video was a way for me to be a bit more social. And so there were a couple of things that I did early on that were really important. Number one was doing a video on my own was way too hard. You know, talking into a camera all by myself in my office and trying to figure out what to say, that was way too hard. So, you know, whenever I make a video, I make sure that I've got somebody with me. You know, part of that is my own neurodiversity, something called body doubling. It does really help. But actually, more importantly, it's that I don't have to think about all the details. I've got somebody beside me, you know, figuratively, because they're usually in a completely different location. But they are beside me, helping me, giving me, whether it be topics, because sometimes we discuss what topics that we want to put out there. Sometimes it's them actually working with things like framing, you know. So I do most of the video production, that most of the videoing that we do right now is on my cell phone. These days, cell phones have way better cameras than even many of the cameras we have. But it makes it difficult because I'm the only one who can see it. So I, often will just take framing shots and send it to my team, and they'll tell me, you know, that one works or that one doesn't. And so having that other person there as your technical support is really, really important. And when I do my podcast, these days I do my podcast with just me and my guest, but in the early days, even that, I had somebody beside me. So that was, you know, just making sure that I was able to do it. And like I said, I use my cell phone camera. You don't have to have fancy equipment. You know, I have bought a few things over time that have helped, and that actually just makes the sound a little bit better. And again, having that technical person on the other side, they can listen for sound levels and they can hear and give me feedback on what sounds good. You know, sometimes it works and sometimes it's not so great, and it is what it is, and we go with it anyway. And I think that's the other thing that I've learned about this is don't be too precious about it. You know, you're going to have good videos, you're going to have bad videos. It's all okay. Bad videos are as important as good videos because it helps you to get over yourself. You know, like the thing is, you think it's a bad video, but often it isn't. That's the one that maybe somebody's going to love because it shows you in a way that they haven't seen you before, or that feels way more authentic than the ones that they had seen earlier. And, you know, that's important. You don't know what's going to resonate, and your own inner critic is going to hold you back. And so you got to get over that. And I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It isn't. But one of the things that I did, and I really challenged myself last summer as we started doing this content, is I gave myself a challenge of going live on social media every day. And I started something called Thought of the Day. And so 5 days a week, I went live with a thought. And that meant that every day I had to make sure that I was camera ready and that I had something to say. And one of my team members would be on the other side of the camera. We would, jump on, make sure that everything was set up, and then I'd go live. And it was never about how many people joined us live. Sometimes we had a lot, sometimes we had two. It didn't actually matter. We didn't tell people when we were going to be live, so we would just drop in. We were live on LinkedIn and on YouTube, and I believe either on Facebook or Instagram. I think we went across 3 different mediums, and every day I would give a little thought of the day. And the first couple of weeks were really hard. It was like, oh my God, there was heavy lifting, but it got easier. The more I did it, the easier it got. I started not worrying so much about how do I look and how do I sound and was that okay? Did anyone understand? It just became, okay, this is the thing I'm gonna do every day. I got used to seeing myself because often when you're videoing, you're actually looking at yourself. And what's great about that is that you actually stop looking at yourself like yourself. You stop, that inner critic starts to go away, and you're just used to how you look and how you move and how you sound. It gets all of that ick factor out. And I did that, so I did that for I think 4 or 5 months. I was live every day. And at the end of that, I realized I can do this. I can actually create videos that are much more intentional, that are much more purposeful, that I actually think about the content that I'm putting out into the world. And so I put together a bit of an idea, and we looked at our channel and said, okay, what is it that we need? What is it that our audience wants? So, from an equipment standpoint, at the end of the day, what you really want is technology that works for you, not that you have to work for it. It shouldn't be so confusing that you can't figure it out. Make it easy on yourself. Have somebody there with you, or like I have, who's behind the scenes. I mean, they're not here in the same place with me. I'm a few hours away from all of my team. So I do all of my own tech here, but they're with me via technology behind the scenes, making sure that I have what I need, making sure that I can show up, as I like to say, I'm the talent. And they're the tech team. And so that's important for you because you are the talent. Like, your thought leadership is what people want to hear. So, make sure that you're comfortable to do that. All the rest is just the way to capture it. And then putting it out there. Now that could be scary. Pressing send on that very first video is terrifying. Like, will anyone understand it? Is it okay? But here's the thing. We live in a world where things move quickly. Memories are short. The next video replaces the last. People will find this over time, and then they will watch many, many videos of yours. So don't get too caught up on making sure every one of them is perfect. I like to tell my team, we need to take it to 80%. Maybe 90 if we're really lucky, but not 100%. That's too much. The value that's added in that extra 10% is not offset by what the results of it will give. If we've got it to 90%, get it out there. Let's see what the response is. We'll get better on the next one. So always publish it before you're ready. If you don't have that feeling in your stomach, that means that you're not doing it right. You haven't pushed yourself hard enough. Every time we record a video, when I see it go up, I'm like, oh God. And I force myself to watch them. I do. My team is great. They do all the editing for me, and that's important. That is one thing I will recommend that you do, is get yourself a good editor. As thought leaders, our job is to be the thinkers, to be the strategists, to bring our expertise to the table, but stay in your lane. Let somebody else stay in theirs. So hire a good editor. You can find them all over the place, and they are worth their weight in gold, because what they do is they'll make you look good. You don't have to do these videos in one long take. You can actually do them. You can say a little bit and then mess up, and say a little bit more and mess up. And I do that often. That's where a good editor will come in, and what they do is they cut the video up, put it back together, make it look great, make sure the lighting levels are good. They put the ending and the beginning on. They do all the work that turns the video from just a phone video into something that really should be on social media. Um, and so, like I said, I see them go up, I watch them. And here's the thing that I think is really funny. We can be so nervous about, recording these things. And I remember when I was doing Thought of the Day, and oh God, I used to cringe every time I did one. And at first I didn't watch any of them. But then I started watching them, and a funny thing happened. I started to realize, oh, that's pretty good. Oh God, that's good. I like that. Oh, I don't remember saying that. And now when I watch them, I actually learn from myself, and it's such an interesting thing. That sounds crazy, but it's true, because sometimes when you're in flow, you say things that it seems to come from places other than you. And when I listen to them back, I think, oh my goodness, that is really powerful. I need to remember that and use that. And so get into the habit of forcing yourself to watch yourself. You're not as bad as you think you are. You definitely know more than you think you do. And your value is greater than you think it is by so many people out there who need to hear what you're sharing. So don't be afraid. Put yourself in front of a camera. Talk to it. Get yourself a good editor and start your channel today. I think this is something that will be life-changing for you. It has been for me. And I hope that this has been a helpful video. I hope that you've learned a little bit. And I also hope that you've subscribed to my channel, because I love making these videos now. I have lots of fun doing it, and it helps me to take this body of knowledge that I have and hopefully help others with all of the things that I've learned over my 40 years in business. If you haven't already, like this video, make sure you subscribe and check back here for our very next video.